Hello there, and thank you for clicking on this video. As you can see by the title, we're gonna talk about the topic: is Star Wars for women? Do women have place in Star Wars? Do women actually like Star Wars? And this is obviously sparked by a guest of Star Wars series that said, I mean, we're gonna watch what she said because I haven't watched it yet. I want to see what exactly she said that the internet went crazy about it. But yeah, as you can see, we're gonna go through this article. His guest, well, Star Wars series guest, said women don't like Star Wars. He agreed and sparked an internet debate. So I guess let's go to the video. Let's see what the woman said, and then I'm gonna tell you out of personal experience. Personal experience. I've talked to a lot of my girlfriends, girls that are my friends. Anyways, about Star Wars, and yeah, the response of Star Wars hasn't been that positive. So I want to see what she says, and yeah, let's
In the
check it
sense
out.
where there
Mm.
wasn't much training and this and that. There's a new director for one of the Star Wars movies, and she says
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this as well, that the new director said, well, he's gonna say it, that it's time for women to take over Star Wars, and I wanted to unalive myself
it's about time that a
because
woman
it's
come in and
stupid.
shape the Star Wars
Mhm.
movies and galaxy. And it's causing a huge uproar on the internet. So many
Mm.
people are saying this is ridiculous. We've had women in Star Wars galaxy before.
Yeah, come
And
on.
other people are saying,
What?
well, people's egos that are having a problem with this are very fragile and their masculinity is fragile.
Yeah.
What's your overall consensus when a female director wants to come in and reshape something and say, it's plant that flag that, hey, I'm a woman and hear me roar. Here is my way of making this sort of franchise, which is already established, now something
Mm.
that's feminine dominant or female dominant, whatever it might be, instead of just a
Yeah.
good story.
Yeah. I think what happens in particularly.
The, so what I would answer to that is, well, in the case of Star Wars, we have had women in Star Wars as characters for such a long time. I mean, come on, it's always Han, Luke, and Leia. It's never like just Han and Luke. It's Han, Luke, and Leia. You know, um, Padme. It's always Obi Wan, Padme, Anakin, Palpatine. It's never just let's just talk about Obi Wan. It's always like a plethora of characters that make Star Wars, and the one of the most the most important characters are one of the most important characters are Leia and Padme. Like Padme gave birth to freaking Leia and Luke. Like, come on. And then you go to the animated side of Star Wars, and you have Ahsoka. I hated the show from 2023, but I love Ahsoka as a character in the Clone Wars, and she's a fan favorite. Never mind what they did to her in the show. You had Rebels with Hera. I never liked Sabine, but you have Sabine. Hera is such a good character. She's so caring and such a mom, and still like a badass. I mean, they destroyed her in Ahsoka because of course. But Hera was great in Rebels, and you have many more like Jean Erso. Like a lot of people always give her as an example, because when people say, "Oh, you hate Ray because she's a woman," well, why nobody ever talk about Jean Erso? Like, she was a good character. She was just a character, normal character. She wasn't paraded as female energy or something. She was just a decent character. Do I care about Rogue One? No. Do I care about Andor and her? No, I don't. But they're okay character. Like even Jen Erso, I would say, is way more interesting than Andor, because I just don't like Andor. I don't know why he exists. But anyway, the show was good. The character no. But anyway, Jen Erso, like nobody ever complained about her. So I don't. Uh, it's just I don't understand where this hypothesis that Star Wars fans hate female characters. They don't hate female characters, they bad characters, and they don't hate, they just criticize. That's two different things. You can criticize something without hating it. I don't hate Ray. I just think she's a stupid character. That I don't hate her. I don't want to see her ever again. But that doesn't mean I hate her. She's just nothing. She's just there, a plank of wood. And I think the biggest problem with Ray is just like they put her instead of Luke. They put her there instead of every other freaking character that should have been there. They gave her the story that should have been Luke's story. She's no one. Why would you put this no one, to lead your, like, the biggest franchise of the world, like, and not relate her in any way, not give her a decent story, like, what? It's just insane what they did with Ray. When I first saw the Force Awakens trailer, and there is no mention of Luke, of Han, of Leia. I mean, of Han, yeah, and Chewie, but still, it was like 2 seconds, and they seem to be side characters, and they were side characters in freaking Star Wars. How can you make Han Solo? I don't get it. I mean, he is, but come on, you know what I mean. So yeah, the fact that they're still complaining, and this woman Shumin Chbet, whatever her name is, I'm sorry, I'm foreigner, you won't be able to pronounce my name as well, so come on, potato. Yeah, I think it's just so insane that, like, in what century, in what year are you living, that you come out and say this. Maybe they just do it for cloud, because they know, oh, if we say these certain things, I want to make man uncomfortable and stuff, like, this is gonna give me cloud, this is gonna give me, more fame, this is gonna make me famous, and people are gonna talk about me, because even negative publicity is publicity. So, that I think that's why a lot of people go into those controversies, and how apparently a lot of people, when there is a black character in Star Wars like Riva, and then people like Obi-Wan has to come, Ewan McGregor has to come out and say, oh, don't hate her, don't send her hate. Like, nobody's sending her hate. Like, critique and hate, there are stupid people that are generally racist, but most of the people just want to see a good story, not Riva getting stabbed and then leaving, and then making her to be the good character, but she's killing, but then she's a good character because reasons. It's just stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, you're making these characters way more important than they should be. And exactly, that's the problem. And apparently, I don't know the whole story, but even back when George Lucas was making Star Wars, his wife had a lot of contribution into that, and she intentionally held her name out of everything. So there have been a lot of women, I bet, even behind the scenes, doing important stuff for Star Wars. And to just say it was just mad, it's just stupid. But even if it was just mad, it's okay. It does, like, not every field has to have hundreds of women, or have 50% women and 50% men. You just want the best man for the job. And when in some cases this is a man, like, didn't have it. Like, who fuck, you know? Let's just continue.
in Western cultures where women have it so easy, but they
I
pretend they know.
agree.
What happens with women who generally have it quite easy, they enjoy victimhood because that's the only
I've
way
seen
that they can
this.
feel
Yeah,
part of other people's struggle. What makes human beings feel alive is when they're a bit struggling, when they're going through something, where they've gone through a bit of trauma, they've gone through something, it makes
I
them feel
agree.
alive.
Yeah.
What's happened with women in the Western world, particularly, is because there is no real oppression, but they want to be a victim so bad because victimhood is just a way of kind of shortcutting sympathy. Everyone just, it's just shortcut entitlement. You
Yeah.
get what you want without having to earn it because you just happen to be a victim.
Yeah,
So what happens is
exactly.
they want to start finding places where they can be a victim and then transform it so that they can become a hero.
Oh shit. I'm so sorry, guys. This never happened to me in a video before. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's go back.
So what they'll do is say, oh, we need more women in this particular sport. Nobody watches them. Nobody wants women in there, but they'll just say stamp their authority so they can be a local hero. Then we need more women in Star Wars. No, we don't. No one. Women don't even watch Star Wars, but they don't even care about it. It's a man's little thing. Let them have
It's
it. But they want to be like.
I'm sorry, but this is true, and I'm gonna tell you about my friends. Like, whenever I have spoken to friends, like I remember when I was living in London during the Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Palpatine, I asked my female friends, "Hey, would you come with me?" They were like, "Oh, f Star Wars," And ever since then, even before that, and nowadays, like maybe 2% of all my female friends ever have seen Star Wars, care about Star Wars, even know what Star Wars is. Like, most of the people I've spoken to that care about Star Wars, like Star Wars, are fans of Star Wars, are men, are male, are guys, boys, they either have seen Star Wars, like it, or love it. Like, I've never really seen, a guy just say, "Oh, F Star Wars," or just, say, "Oh, Star Wars is stupid." It's always like, "Oh my god, you like Star Wars? Let's talk about it." Have you seen the sequels? Oh, they're so dumb. Like, it's every guy that I've spoken to that says, "Oh, the sequels are just bad." But when it comes to my female friends, it's always like, "Oh, F Star Wars." And maybe because we're just a bit more, like girly and girly girls. I'm sorry, but it's more like nerdy girls that like Star Wars in general. In freaking general, I'm sorry, but when it comes, because most of my friends were very old fashioned girly girls and stuff, and it's always, those girls don't watch Star Wars. I was introduced to Star Wars by my mom, so I'm not saying that, girls don't watch Star Wars, but I'm sorry, but most girls don't. They don't care. They're not a fan like you and me, watching everything that comes out, loves talking about it. Like, it's just not reality. Like, my personal experience is that girls, women don't watch Star Wars. They don't care about Star Wars. And that is okay. You know, um Barbie, like Barbie's main audience is women. Why? Because it's freaking Barbie. Like, why would you be mad if, when you say, like, "Yeah, men don't like Barbie." Well, of course they don't like Barbie. It's freaking Barbie. It's a doll. It's a pink doll. Like, why would men like that? And then you have Star Wars. It's not just Star Wars. It's like action movies, thrillers. Men like those things more than women, and that is okay. That is just a fact. Like, do you know how, like, I wanted to watch Godzilla in the cinema. Me and my friend, we just wanted to do something fun, and I was like, I mean, I would really want to watch Godzilla because I hear so many good reviews. And she just looked at me like, "No." And the this is the reaction I get when I say, like, "Hey, let's watch Godzilla," or "Let's watch this action movie," or this thriller. It's always like, "No." And then watch The Boy and the Heron and the anime, which is so typical for girls. Anime, I think it's mostly boy and girls, but I mean, come on, if you have Godzilla and an anime, you would, as a girl, you would go and watch the anime. And that is okay. Like, there are things, men and women are not the same. We have different things that we like. I don't know why is it so difficult for people to understand. It's not difficult. It's not. It's men, women, two different things. Do we have overlaps? Of course. Are there a lot of men that like girl things? That is true as well. Are there girls that like a lot of male things? That is true as well. But in general, men, women, different things, different interests. Why are there more men that like football? Because it's just a man's thing. And it's okay. Like, it's really okay. Like, not like we're not equal, like in physical strength. Like, we're just not. I was playing Canadian this thing with a guy, like the Canadian. I think it's called, well, in Bulgarian, it's called like this when you go like pop. And I was like, "Oh, look, I'm just as strong as you." And he was like, I was going easy on you. And I was like, "No, don't go easy on me." And I was like thinking, "Oh God, I'm gonna win over him." And then bah, he won. Because he's a man. He has more strength. He's younger than me, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, That's my point. Like, I don't know how many examples I have to give to make people understand that men and women are different. And when it comes to Star Wars, I'm not saying that women don't watch Star Wars, but it's just more men and guys that watch it, and that is okay. Like, you won't die if you admit that. You know, I, do, I'm a woman. I'm a girl. I don't see myself as that old. But and I like Star Wars. I do. I like it. I'm even more of a Star Wars fan than a lot of my guy friends. But I'm just saying, on a normie level, it's more guys that would watch Star Wars than girls. As I say, like, I've never heard a guy tell me F Star Wars. I've heard that from my female friends. And then they laughed and they made a high five. Like, I'm just looking like, what the hell? Most my female friends have seen is just maybe one or two movies, and that's it. That's it. No, but most of them not even that. I think now it's just one that have seen the prequels and the OG. I think, but apart from that, I don't. She doesn't care. So let's finish this video.
Like, oh, there's such a deprivation. We got to be in it so they can be a mini hero. When you don't have anything outside of your gender as a way of being proud of yourself, you use your gender as a shortcut for entitlement and heroic stances. So I would just say, unfortunately, it is the norm in Western cultures
Yeah.
to kind of over-identify with your gender and then over-identify with victimhood.
Exactly.
It's a way of getting a shortcut to being a hero, and as a result, it's just there to design. And also, what it does is keeps the power in the hands of the women. And whenever you redirect power entirely to women, just like if it was entirely to men,
Mhm.
it creates an unhealthy
Of course.
society. If the power is totally in men's hands, it would be unhealthy. If it's totally in women's hands, it's
Yeah.
also unhealthy. But what we're doing is, I remember, like, in an environment, I did a talk, and it was a mainly Gen Z, very young generation. I couldn't believe how feminine the men were. Everybody
Yeah.
looked androgynous. I couldn't
Yes.
believe, and I just you would just take the normal 18-year-old boy, would have been considered as a really feminine man years and years ago. They would have seen him as
Now
like
it's just
super
norm.
feminine, or they would have just
That's why I
assumed he's
like Han Solo.
homosexual.
He's
In this day and age, that's just
masculine.
how the men are come. So they've lost the masculinity. Yeah, and so what's happening is the culture is creating the very men women will not desire in the future.
Exactly.
By doing this, you're going to create a bunch of men that you will no longer be sexually attracted to, and as a result, you'll be
So I
more
guess this
miserable in
was
the
the
long
end
run.
of the Star Wars thing.
Sadio, thank you for your time. Where
Thank
can everyone
you.
find you on
So I guess this was the end. I guess the last bit was, not part of the Star Wars talk, but I agree with that as well. Like, I think society is really not going in a good direction. Like, we're basically going to extinction, but that's a different topic. Maybe for a different channel that I might make at some point, because there are just a lot of things I have to talk about. But anyways, so yeah, a lot of people call him misogynistic and other words that I cannot even pronounce at this point in day. Yeah, so I guess the the article. Oh, I have to. Oh, I cannot watch. Oh, I can see the article. Okay, let's see if they said something interesting here. Um, blah blah. Do we need more? No, no, we don't. Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And women don't even know Star Wars. I mean, come on, look at her. Like, oh, I don't have the picture, but you saw her. Woman like this doesn't watch Star Wars, more or less. Like, ultra feminine girls, women, well, women, girls, yes, but women, they just won't be a huge fan. They might have seen a movie just because it's something that everyone do, but in general, they won't be like, oh my god, The Mandalorian came out, let's take a look. Oh my god, it's so exciting. My mom is excited, but when I tell her, hey, the show came out, it's good, let's watch it, then she does it, but she won't go out her way to, research and, care about those things. So, yeah. that's a long article. But yeah, following the premiere of the most recent Star Wars films held by Disney by Daisy Ridley, thousands of fans accused Disney of going wrong by having a female lead. Oh my god, the Kelly Marie Tran. She had a leading role. Kelly Marie Tran did not have a leading role in this. Come on. So sexist and racist harassment. That I belong in margin spaces, valid only as a minor character, bro. That's so stupid. And John Boyega, the whole thing, like John Boyega is the one beloved character. Well, Finn and John Boyega, the actor as well, because he was super excited about the whole thing. Like you can see it, he knew his stuff. And John Boyega, like Finn, is the only character that most of the, most of the fans like from the sequel trilogy. He was a decent character in The Force Awakens, and then he gradually they really made turn him into a joke. But it's not because of his race. It's because they didn't do anyone justice. Like Kylo was a bad character, Reyes was a bad character, Finn was a bad character, in the last two movies, and the Oscar Isaac's character, I don't know what his name was, but they were all bad characters, not because the fans are racist and they hated Finn. Like nobody hated Finn. He's the only character that people liked. So the whole racism thing, I mean, Disney's racist for making him smaller on the poster, but he didn't go out and talk against Disney. He talked against the fans. Did the fans make that poster? Like, fuck off. Yeah, well, Nia didn't acknowledge the statement during his conversation with Kyle. Much of the online criticism has centered around his strong and sometimes negative opinions surrounding women characters in the science fiction series and fan space. Mostly his accusation that Disney executives have been creating a setting as part of the agenda. I mean, it is an agenda. Like, come on, there's so many women in Star Wars right now, and they're all freaking insufferable and bad. It's insane. And they're okay. I would just stop. By having episode on there saying it's for boys was a shock who knew he was yeah, I'm just not gonna read this. There's no point. I've said my thing. Am I gonna talk about the female director, the documentary director that's gonna direct the Rey movie? No. I mean, I've said my piece. She likes to make men comfortable. Well, she's making everyone uncomfortable because, like, girly, what are you doing? I don't see the point of this. I think it's just so stupid. I don't know if these are even real people. Like, it would be sad. Like, I would be not surprised if most of the bad comments are just bots or paid for people, or I don't know, some wannabe journalist, or people are looking for their 50 minutes of fame, because it's just stupid. I mean, people just don't go out and hate women or people of color. Nobody does that. Are there bad people out there? Yes, of course, but it's just such a small, like, miniature percentage. And then you're putting us all, like, you're putting me in this as well, that I'm sexist. How can I be sexist? I'm female. If you can, if you recognize that. But yeah, I don't like. Oh, okay, I can say that I'm sexist because I don't like women. I think we're bad. So I guess I don't like feminists. Just, no. Yeah, I'm tired. This actually got me tired because it's just so stupid. And as I said, from personal experience, like, most women don't like Star Wars. They just don't even care. They know that it exists. Like, I had a, I won't say had a long life, but I mean, I'm very young, but still, like, in the time that I've been on this planet, I haven't heard a lot of girls. It's just one or two that have watched Star Wars that actually have even seen it, because it's not even about liking. They watch Star Wars and they're like, okay, it's there, So yeah. Star Wars is more or less for boys. That doesn't mean that girls don't watch it and cannot enjoy it, but more or less it is. It's reality. Barbie is more or less just for girls. It's the reality. Who cares? Men and women, different species. So yeah, uh, I guess this video is very long, but I'm gonna put timestamps, and thank you for watching. If you reached so far, thank you for listening to my rant. But yeah, I guess a lot of things are happening in Star. Well, not a lot, but just a lot of BS is happening. Like the Ray movie got announced, and then it got denounced, and what else got announced? I don't know. I don't care. Let's talk about it down below. I'll see you next video. As always, may the force be with you.